Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of General Geekery. With me is Izzy, and as always, JD.
Hello.
Yeah, the dogs have a new toy to fight over. Uh, I got Jabba the Mutt, Chewbacca, so she can say, "Bring the Wookiee to me."
Um,
The two
and
sisters are fighting over Chewbacca now.
well, remember in episode 7 when Maz Kanata's like, "Where's my boyfriend? I like that Wookiee." Well, you know, Chewie does have a wife back on Kashyyyk, so it's like two women want the same Wookiee in real life too.
Yep, yeah. It's hard to argue. Uh, Not sure we have a whole lot planned for this particular episode. As usual.
No, we just wanted to get together and talk and nerd out about something. So, um, besides, when do we ever have topics planned unless we have you know, a theme like episode 1?
Yeah,
Um,
which was last episode. So yeah, it was the May the 4th be with you episode. We both went to go see episode one in the theater.
I did wind up taking my firstborn, but my son did not go. He really just did not want to go. He's very specific when he goes to the movie theater. There's certain things he wants to go see. Like I took him to go see Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes this past weekend. And then the last weekend I had him with me, we went and saw Godzilla X Kong. Um, but he did not want to go see Star Wars. So that's all right. He went with his grandparents. I don't want to torture him. And um, he just doesn't care that much. Um, so
That
he just doesn't. There's really um, yeah, there's a handful of movies that he'll go see at the theater, and everything else can fuck off. He does say he does. Uh, both kids do want to go see Venom in October, so we will end up going to see the third Venom movie.
all right.
Um, but yeah, I took my firstborn and we went to see episode 1, and it was my ninth time seeing it in the theater. And while we were sitting in the theater waiting for the movie to start, I realized that my firstborn is 19 and I was 19 when episode 1 came out. And I'm like, okay, well, that's kind of trippy. Um,
Yeah, that kind of is trippy. So yeah, we went to go see it. My wife and I went to go see it. I think the 5th. I think we went on the 5th or 6th, somewhere in there. We went to go see it, and I think that was my third time seeing it in the theater because I know I saw it twice um, when it came out, and I think that was like Emily's second time seeing it ever.
my God. Um, well, what did she what did she think of it? Like,
She
had she seen it since it was in the theater the first time?
Yeah, yeah. I don't think she saw it. I think she saw
So
it here once, and
so when you wait 25 years to see a movie, it's kind of like seeing it for the first time. Um,
yeah.
um,
Well, she remembered it pretty well. I mean, she's got a pretty good memory for that stuff, but um, she was really impressed with how well Jake Lloyd was with acting. I mean, he caught a lot of shit for being that young Anakin in that
I
movie.
think he did a good job.
I think he
He's a
did.
kid. He was playing a kid. Um,
Yeah,
I
he's a kid.
don't understand why he got so much flack for it.
I don't know.
You know, I can only imagine that it was from a lot of people who found him annoying, but they simply don't have kids around them, so they don't understand what kids are like, I guess.
Yeah,
Um, I don't. There were. It was weird because it has been because you remember the original theatrical run, they had that really ugly puppet of Yoda in the movie. It has been so long since they substituted the CGI Yoda that we saw in episodes 2 and 3 into the Phantom Menace to replace that horrid puppet. It was kind of one of those changes that I had simply forgotten that they made.
Yeah, same here.
And a friend of mine sent me a text from that weekend that said that were watching a behind the scenes thing on the internet, and it had a really ugly puppet of Yoda. And I'm like, oh, I had forgotten about the puppet. So
Yeah,
I
too.
went and I found a YouTube video that had the Yoda scenes from the first Blu-ray edition where they replaced the puppet with with the original theater, so side by side with the same dialogue.
Oh, okay.
God, I remember the Yoda puppet being ugly, but I did not remember it being scary. But it's actually scary. But back then, back in 1999, my whole thing was, why doesn't that puppet of Yoda look anything like the puppet of Yoda that they used for The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi? And the one way to explain it away that this is the younger Yoda doesn't make any sense when that Yoda puppet didn't really look any younger than he did in The Empire Strikes Back.
I remember
He just had a completely different nose and looked a little bit more like uh it looked a little bit more like a goblin than it did Yoda. So it was just kind of weird because they make changes to the movies over the years, and in your memory, you take that for granted until you see how it used to be. And I'm like, boy, am I glad they changed it.
yeah, I
Um,
completely forgot about that. And then my wife mentioned she's like, man, Natalie Portman was young in that. And uh also remarked on how well she thought she had done on the acting on that one as well. And because she was saying that Natalie Portman is not one of her favorite actresses. But she thought that was like encore with like she had seen Black Swan and really liked it, and we've both seen B for Vendetta and thought Natalie Portman was amazing in that. And she thought that was the her acting in Phantom Menace was on par with both of those.
um, my favorite Star Wars planet is Naboo, and since I first saw that movie, her performance as the Queen has always been one of my favorite aspects of it. Like, I'm a big fan of all things Naboo, really, but her performance as the Queen in all those costumes, and I liked all the handmaidens, the stand-ins that she had, the decoys. I liked all that stuff.
Before we
But
before we get off on that, I didn't know the stand-in was Keira Knightley.
and Keira Knightley a couple of years ago did an interview where somebody asked if she'd ever go back to Star Wars, and she didn't remember being in Star Wars in the first place. Um,
Oh, that's makes two of us because I had no fucking idea. We were on the way home, and Emily was looking up to see how old Natalie Portman was on the way home in that movie, and she's like, "Oh, and by the way, the stand-in was Keira Knightley." I'm like, "What? Really? Fuck, I didn't know that."
um, yeah, yeah. She did that movie what, a year or two before that movie was released. What, a year or two, maybe 3 years before the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie, and so she was just on that threshold of making it big. So I can understand why she didn't really remember, because it was a small part in a movie that had a lot of special effects,
Yeah,
and she probably just her agents probably just got her in and said, "Hey, just go do this role." Because the handmaiden that's when Anakin, before he goes to see the Jedi Council, he goes to the apartment to see Padme,
right.
and Rabe, the handmaiden, tells him that she's not there, she's out on an errand, and that is Sophia Coppola. Francis Ford
Oh,
Coppola's
yeah, that's
daughter.
right. Emily mentioned that
Um,
too.
yeah, so she's in the movie when she had already had a career, and then Keira Knightley's there at the beginning of her career, and um, it's kind of weird because um, you see these people as they're younger, and see Natalie Portman has never aged that much. Like she's gone on to do a lot of movies and a lot of, and yeah, she won the Oscar for Black Swan, which I've never seen before. But um, I wasn't the biggest fan of her as an actress at the time, but it was a weird contradiction because I always liked Queen Amidala, and then when she was later Senator Amidala, but she's an actress that I've grown to appreciate more as I've gotten older. And like I love her as Jane Foster in Thor.
Yeah,
And as one of the few who liked Thor Love and Thunder,
I liked
I
Fluff.
didn't love it, but I liked it.
I
Um,
like that was all right.
I yeah, I like that I like that she kept going back to play that role. I really like that I've seen her. I don't know if you I don't know if you watch a lot of Saturday Night Live. I don't watch it live, but I tend to go back and I watch clips online. But she's had a couple of rap battles on SNL. And yeah, like she's really good at rapping, and some of it's really funny. And I recommend that you go back and look for some of that.
Huh.
Um, but yeah, she's a good host of SNL. But yeah, it's it's kind of one of those where I do wish that I do think the story of Padme is tragic. It did. I don't like the way they sent her out in episode 3. I really don't. It it's fine if medically there's a condition for it, but honestly,
Dying of
no.
sadness is pretty stupid.
Yeah, it's for a character that started out so strong and so bold in the first movie. She just most of her scenes for episode 3 were cut, and they send her out on a really shitty note. Like that character had a really shitty end. Um, I don't. I wish that the the shows that they were making right now, like they reference her, like they referenced her numerous times in the Kenobi series. Obviously, they have yet to mention her by name, and that annoys the crap out of me. But I do. Natalie Portman did say she's willing to come back and play again. So I'm like, damn it, do flashbacks or something. Um, but yeah, it was nice seeing episode 1 in the theater again. If they re-release episode 2 in a couple of years, I'll go see that again.
I
That one I only saw a couple of times in the theater on its initial release. So, um,
I have to
um,
admit that they're gonna re-release both of those 2 and 3 in the theater on the 25th anniversary.
I think it'd be really dumb if they didn't. But I I will say, as the guy back in 1991 at 19 years old that didn't hate Jar Jar Binks, I've been a fan the whole time. It was. I'm glad to see Ahmad Best is back into Star Wars. You know, he was in the Mandalorian. He played. I can't remember the character's name. The Jedi who saved Grogu from the temple during Order 66.
Yes.
Keller and Beck, that was his name. I'm glad to see that he's back into Star Wars. I would like to see Natalie Portman back at some point. Um, I even if it's for flashbacks or additional whatever. And I do kind of hope that at some, even if Jake Lloyd never comes back to Star Wars, even if he never comes, I really, I hope, I hope things get better for him because it really was shitty what his mother did an interview. I read a statement from her from last year that said it was not all the backlash that did this to him. It just it
It,
made it worse.
yeah,
So but I don't see, if you don't like a movie, fine. If you don't like the performances in the movie, fine. I will never understand the mindset of going on the internet to belittle these people or
yeah,
terrorize these people or harass these people just because you didn't like their part in the movie or their performance or their character or the whole movie that they were involved in. If you don't like it, fine. But there's absolutely no reason to hold it against these performers and turn their lives into shitstorms.
blaming.
I don't, I will never understand that.
I don't get it either. I don't claim to. I don't. Yeah, especially like, I mean, I can kind of see. I'm not condoning it. Don't get me wrong. I can kind of see somebody complaining about like if they thought the actor's performance wasn't very good, but that's not usually what the people are complaining about. They're usually complaining about the character, and
Yeah, because
it's
if
stuff.
they don't like the performance, it usually starts there, but for some reason escalates into super personal
Yeah,
attacks on their character, on
and
their
I don't get that at all.
and worse, their nationalities, and their I don't. There's a lot of people that can't seem to separate reality from fiction, and if you don't like a movie or you don't like what they did in the movie, move on. I just the number of actors in Star Wars that have had their everything called into question and attacked. And I mean, it took 20 years before Hayden Christensen came back into the fold because he was harangued so badly for what he did with Anakin in episode 2 and 3. It he's back now, but it's like, why did he ever have to retreat like that? Why? And people that don't like the sequels, all right, fine, just don't like the sequels. But attacking those actors because you don't like their roles, unfucking called for.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely
like I said.
uncalled
That's
for.
the thing that I don't get. It's when they personally attack the actors for the characters. It's like they had zero control over that, and that's just absolutely asinine. But anyway,
If you know what, if the actors are getting harassed so much on the internet that they shut their social media down to retreat, that's, in my opinion, that's terrorism. I
it,
just, it's
oh yeah, no,
personal terrorism.
it is. It's
Um,
that's what it is.
and I feel like the people that perpetrate that kind of stuff kind of wish there could be a sentence for that. I mean, karma will get these people. I do believe that, but that's just messed up. I don't. If you don't like a movie, just shut up and don't like it. Have it. Do a review online that said, "Boy, did that movie suck." So did everybody else in it. I mean, you don't have to praise them if you don't like them. I can't personally stand David Spade. If I see David Spade in stuff, I will avoid watching that stuff because David Spade, well, he sucks and he's not funny. Um, but
And there's a bunch of the characters in the sequels that I absolutely detest, but I that's me. I don't like what they did, a lot of what they did with the sequels, and that's my opinion, and that's it. But you know, I've
and
gone out to, I couldn't even tell you who the actors or actresses are that I didn't like the roles of, let alone to go find their social media and blast them.
see, that's okay. You don't like the movies, you don't like their performance, you don't like the characters. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, uh, if you don't like something, you don't like something. But I just, I like, I always say, I like The Force Awakens. I adore The Last Jedi, and I can watch Rise of Skywalker. That's it. That's where I stand. But leave the actors alone. Just if you don't like their, move on. Just go bother somebody else. And I just I don't understand why people just can't live and let live. Why can't we have a little bit of? Why does the world have to thrive on chaos
I
these
don't know.
days? I don't
I think
understand.
you can get to death there, JD, though. So let's talk about something that I do like, and that's Ghostbusters.
Did you see the last one? I still don't watch it. Have you seen it?
No, because when it was in theaters, my wife's best friend was here, uh, and she was here with her daughter. Her
Oh,
daughter
that's right. Yeah.
high functioning autism, so it was not going to happen, and we just
No,
never got to go seeing
and
it.
it was not in the theaters for that long. I don't
It
think.
was not. It didn't do very well from what I've heard, but I don't know nothing about that. So
I finally saw Afterlife like last month before the other one came out with the intent of going to see the other one, and I missed it. But
I
Afterlife was good.
I enjoyed
Um,
the hell out of Afterlife. I thought it was pretty good. It was a little slow in spots, but um, I thought it was pretty good. So
what movie isn't a little slow and sparks usually?
uh,
So what is this? This is Hasbro.
this is Hasbro's 1/18th scale Ecto-1, the 1984 version of Ecto-1. The box art is fantastic. This is the first piece in, I think they're calling it the Plasma series. There may be other stuff
Okay.
out in the Plasma series, but this is the precursor to the O-ring figures that are going to be coming out later this year.
Okay. So they released this first, and then the O-ring figures come later.
Yeah, I have not seen it
Okay.
yet for those figures, but when I do, I am pre-ordering two sets. I'm pre-ordering one for me and one for the wife.
I thought maybe this Ecto one might have been released for the kids line that's like 4 inches tall, but I didn't know if it was for that, but it was going to work with the later stuff.
No, my
Okay, so
this is supposed to be so number one, box art's fantastic. Got a nice piece of the um yeah, that's art of the vehicle coming out of the state firehouse.
oh,
Picture
I
on
see it now. Okay, that's
uh
cool.
rear picture, and then the front of it. Uh
Oh, that's cool. Okay,
Bottom is blank, and then pictures of the action features on the back. Uh I have not opened this. I ordered it from Hasbro when it went live, and then of course, like the people that pre-ordered it through Big Bad Toy Store got it like a week in advance from the Hasbro. So people that have that ordered theirs through Big Bad Toy Store, they already have it.
okay.
Got all the
So,
parts.
how
So
long ago did they offer this for pre-order between you getting it and the pre-order?
boy, I am not sure because I have been looking at the freaking Hasbro site to I'm like, did I'm pretty sure I pre-ordered that when it went live, but
Okay, so it's
I
been a
could
while
I
then.
could well no, I was looking through my order history and I couldn't find it.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm like, where is this thing? I know I fucking pre-ordered it. I'm just sure I got an email saying it was shipped. So I sat down on the internet today and spent like half an hour looking through my history on Pulse, which is a pain in the ass to sort through, and still I couldn't find it. And then finally decided to go through my emails to find the email from Hasbro saying that it had shipped. And I'm like, track package, and it's like delivered. I'm like, what?
Oh, nice,
Yeah.
nice.
So the dogs had been barking at the front door like 30 minutes earlier. So this showed up like 30 minutes before I sat down to figure out where it was at.
All right, that's pretty funny. Um,
So we got the multilingual customer service thing.
Oh, I think all Hasbro products come with those little papers.
Yeah, I think it might be instructions, but it's not.
What's that bag of parts and accessories?
Yeah. Good board. Jesus. So it's
You know what the cost was on this thing? Do you remember? Just
uh
curious.
no, I don't. No, I
I
don't.
was unaware that this thing was released. So
I can look it up real quick because it's on Big Bad Toy Store has it and it's in stock, obviously. Oops. Damn it. Come on. Toy Store. Just saw it there this morning because I was looking at I was like, maybe I should just pre-order. I should just order it. In stock at Big Bad Toy Store for $59.99. So I was gonna say $60, and that was pretty close. So I have to look at the box to see how they have everything put on there. So let's. I probably wouldn't, even with the 4-inch O-ring Ghostbusters coming out, I probably wouldn't have bought this um, if I hadn't done my customs.
well, that's true.
Can't tell, and yeah, there's like no instructions with this, so I'm not.
What?
Yeah,
That's dumb.
it is
Uh,
because I'm actually sure where some of this stuff goes, and the pictures on the box aren't very helpful.
One of the photos, it looks like there's something that pops out of the back of the vehicle.
There
I'm gonna
is.
guess that.
So yeah, the back opens. It's very well detailed inside, and they've taken the
Nice.
old stretcher and in the movie they took the stretcher and made it a rack for uh the proton packs.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
And it does,
Yeah, I couldn't remember what the gimmick with that. Oh, that's right. They converted all of the all of the equipment into ghost hunting equipment. Okay.
yeah. And it does have. I thought it was going to just like sit in there and pull out, but no, it's got the drop down legs like the old Furno stretchers did. So
That's cool.
that is pretty
Uh, that's cool. I like the attention to detail there. Um,
absolutely. I have no idea how that is supposed to fit on there. So yeah, this it says slide out gurney, and yeah, it doesn't because in the movie it just slid out and they pulled the packs off, but it comes out and it doesn't like lock in there, which I kind of wish it did, but at the same time it's nice that it's removable.
I was gonna say better than locking in there and then getting stuck.
Yeah,
Um,
but
um,
can't.
I'm glad it's a modern vehicle that doesn't have stickers. They just tampo the logo on the back of it.
Yeah,
Um,
as much as
it's
I like putting stickers on stuff, I am kind of also glad that I don't have to. So there's the
yeah,
ladder
because that
side.
particular logo, if it was even just cockeyed just a little bit, drive you crazy.
Yeah, or the license plates.
Oh
I
yeah,
honestly can't figure out where this goes. Jeez. Yeah. So I've got part of it that I can't because yeah, it did not come with instructions anywhere.
that's terrible. That's
It is.
terrible.
Um, so we got like 3 antennas here. That one, what is that? Oh, that one goes there. But yeah, I literally have no idea where this where this one piece goes. And this goes here. Wait, this
So,
goes.
how many times have you seen the original Ghostbusters movie?
I couldn't tell you.
I mean, is it one of those that you've repeatedly watched over the years?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I've
Um,
probably seen it at least 20 times.
I
It's
did not see it until I was a late teenager, early adulthood. I didn't see it when I was a kid. It was one of the many movies I was not allowed to watch when I was a kid because my parents were sticklers. Um, and it's ridiculous considering the movies that we could watch Beetlejuice, and we did a lot. We had a tape, we had a videotape that my uncle recorded it off of HBO for us. So he gave us the tape, and we watched Beetlejuice ad nauseum. And but my parents didn't let us watch Ghostbusters. That doesn't make any damn sense to me. I'd say they're right on par with each other for scary and, well, wackiness. And language, no different. And at no point in Beetlejuice did anybody say this man has no dick.
right.
Um,
So
but
so one of the things that I do, I work as a community paramedic, and one of the things that I do is I go to like when somebody is threatening suicide, I'm the one they call to go.
oh boy,
Yeah, I'm the one that has to go de-escalate that. And
no
then
pressure.
yeah, part of my job. Oh, that's where it goes. Uh, Part of my job is to get these people on the line through telehealth, so through like an iPad with a licensed counselor. So I was on a call last week with somebody that was suicidal, and had them on the counselor, and the counselor asked the patient if they had any family history of mental illness. And the only thing that I could think of was the scene from the beginning of Ghostbusters where where Bill Murray asks the librarian if she has a family history of mental illness, and the librarian answers, "My uncle thought he was Saint Jerome." And it's the only fucking thing I could think about, and I just about fucking lost it while this guy's talking to the therapist on the iPad.
I, for your sake and his, boy, am I glad you got a handle on that because they could have been awkward.
Oh yeah, it was, yeah. All right, so I figured out where everything went. Um,
I would say there's a bunch of parts to
yeah, there
that.
was way more parts than I figured. Uh,
Does the seat come out of it like in the movie?
Not in
Or slide out,
afterlife.
I mean.
That was Afterlife where the seat came out.
Oh, okay. I didn't remember if the original had. I I like the first movie. I've seen it a handful of times. It's very quotable, but um, yeah, I got it mixed up. I have. It's been a great many years since I saw the second Ghostbusters. I remember thinking it was trying. I remember thinking it was fine right up until the Statue of Liberty started to walk around, and it lost me completely. I didn't lose it. No, the movie lost me. Um, but then Afterlife came along, and boy, that was good.
I like the
But
second one. I've watched the second one not as many times as the first one. And then the first one is one of Emily's favorite movies too. So we've seen it a bunch of times together. It's one of the ones, it's like Constantine. If we want a movie to sit down and watch, it's either Constantine or Ghostbusters.
that's a good call. And neither of you has ever been possessed by Zool, so that's good.
Not that we're aware of. Oop. So yeah, the stretcher comes out, the legs fall down, which is really cool. Um, it is there. It clearly does hold something. So I am guessing when the figures come out, the backpacks, the proton packs will fit in on this just fine.
Well, they better. It'd be pretty dumb if they didn't. It'd be a That'd be a shite design if they didn't.
It's not a shite design. I mean, it is very specific for something, and I'm guessing when those figures come out, they will fit on that.
No, I mean the accessories. Boy, if they missed the boat
Uh,
on that, that would be tragic.
yeah,
Um,
the detailing inside's amazing. I mean, it is spot on
I
for
was
the
gonna say that looks like a damn fine piece of well machined toy.
yeah. Yeah, no, it's the doors are on like double hinges. So I mean, they come off pretty easily too. So it's you're not gonna break it. And
Oh, so you can pull the doors on to get the figure out if you don't want to yank the figure out. So that's
yeah,
good.
so I mean, like the door for the front goes like super far forward. So yeah, this vehicle was definitely designed for playability to get
That
your
is cool.
in and out of the vehicle. So yeah, this thing is amazing. The detail on it is fantastic. The tampos are great. Uh, my only gripe is the hood doesn't open, which I think they could have done pretty easily. Especially, it was a big, I won't say a big part of there was definitely a spot in the movie where, Dan Aykroyd's working underneath the hood. So I think that would have been kind of cool to be able to do that. But all in all, that's about the only gripe I got on this is the hood
Does the
doesn't.
steering wheel move?
The steering wheel does not move.
Just curious. Well,
Yeah,
that's okay. You don't have to worry about it breaking off either. Then, so
but yeah,
yeah,
it's definitely designed for figures. Uh, I think it's definitely designed for the O-ring figures because it does look a little smaller. But
well, you could always grab a couple of O-ring Joes and see how they fit.
yeah, I don't have any handy. I don't think. I don't think I have
What
anybody's.
kind of nerd are you?
All my everything in here is customs. I don't keep
What
any.
kind of nerd are you? You don't have any Joes on hand that you can just grab and do. My God.
Yeah, 'cause
Um,
all my
this
customs
is
keep.
this is shameful.
I don't
All
keep.
right, you're fine. You're fine. Um, I'm
However,
just messing with you.
one thing I
Um,
have right here.
I figure it just suits the review if we can put a Joe in there. Oh, hey, look at that. Is that box number two? Is that the one that they messed up on? You had to order a second one.
Yeah, and you can see where it cracked. So
Oh,
box number two didn't come out too well either. So yeah, there's the box set.
cool.
Yeah, I'm probably not gonna do it with my guys.
I, I was just sitting here thinking, wow, he's a brave soul if he's gonna put his customs in there and then pull them back out. You're gonna have to repaint it. Um,
Yeah, it's a little big for the modern figures. So, and yeah, I don't really, I don't,
no, but you can pose them next to it and take a picture, so that's
yeah,
good.
I really didn't expect, I didn't know they were making this when I made these figures, so I didn't really put
Yeah,
yeah,
I was gonna say, wasn't it Toy Fair or something just a couple of months ago that
yeah,
they sprung the news about the O-ring style Ghostbusters and the Ecto-1 like out of nowhere. Like
yeah,
it was like nobody was expecting it, but the internet just blew up like holy shit, O-ring style Ghostbusters.
yeah,
Um
and a
now
1/18 scale Ecto
when
one.
I looked at those pictures of the four figures, the O-ring figures, they look cool. And they all share the same bodies, except I'm gonna say I think the Bill Murray figure has normal trousers, like the pants aren't tucked into the boots on the O-ring version, and I was a little baffled by that.
No,
I don't remember the movie in great detail, the way they wore the uniforms, but I thought they all wore boots tucked into their with the jumpsuit legs tucked into the boots. So I thought that was kind of a weird choice.
yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. I'll have to look. But yeah, this thing is amazing. I mean,
That is cool. Yeah.
it's a solid chunk of plastic. Wheels rotate. Kind of softish wheels.
Well, I was
They're
going to ask if they were rubber or if they were plastic.
they feel rubber.
That's
It's
cool.
detailed pretty well underneath.
Oh, nice. All right. Yeah.
And then yeah, everything detailed on the roof. Yeah,
All
I
right. So
did a
that's
fantastic job with this. Um,
Hasbro did a that's a well engineered piece they did.
as far as
That's cool.
customizing it, if you can do LEDs, I think this thing would not be that difficult to put LEDs into.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
The all of the headlights and taillights are clear plastic, so I think
Oh,
it
are they? Okay.
so I think it'd be
Oh,
super easy to take it apart and do
that's cool.
on this thing. Because yeah,
That's I
it
feel like the clear lenses on the headlights are a detail they didn't have to do, but it's cool that they did do it.
absolutely. So yeah, if you've got the skill to do the LEDs, there's plenty of room in this thing to run the wiring for it. And since the hood doesn't open, you could put everything under the hood. Because it's just screwed together underneath. It's got what 6, 8 screws holding it together underneath, and then the top just pops off. So customization, that would be the only thing that I would do, is if I had the skill to do LEDs, which I do not.
Nor do I.
It would not be difficult to do LEDs on this thing, and that would make it amazing. I think I've seen somebody doing that on the internet. I think somebody's already done it, but and I would be surprised if somebody hasn't. But
I would say I'd be shocked if somebody didn't.
I think I did see somebody had customized one of these, and that's what they're doing is they're putting the LEDs in. Um, other than that, there's not a lot of necessity for customizing this thing, uh, just because of how decent it is, just straight out of the box. I mean, it's fantastic. So yeah, I'm super glad I got it. I'll have to take a picture of it with my Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I want to see that. That's cool.
But yeah, no, it looks great. So yeah, super glad I got it. Um, Vehicles, it seems like there's been a significant increase in price in vehicles that I've noticed in the Star Wars line over the last couple of years to the point where I don't buy vehicles anymore.
They're the last X-wing fighter they put out was $100. I'm like, are they kidding me?
When
Um,
start the repurposed Naboo fighter for the Mandalorian was like 120. I'm like,
yeah,
"You're
it was insane.
mine." So
The
for $60 for this thing, this is a steal.
I
For
was gonna say that's kind of a bargain because um, there's in that scale, that level of detail. I'm shocked that they did not charge more. Because look in the Star Wars line, I don't do a lot of the 4-inch stuff anymore, lines anymore. But and I don't generally buy vehicles, but the Naboo N1 Starfighter is my favorite Starfighter design in Star Wars, and I was very excited when it showed up in Mandalorian and they repurposed it into a bounty hunter ship, and I thought, holy shit, the pictures of the toy were great.
oh yeah, look
Then I saw the retail price. I'm like, are they out of their fucking minds? So the $60 on that Ecto-1 is kind of a bargain.
yeah, it really is.
It's I mean, considering the Transformers, the GI Joe Transformers, they're all like $70 or $80. So
A lot of those you
it's
can get if you watch, you can get them on pretty good discount on Amazon.
Yeah, well, that's the reason I have Bumblebee the Off-Striker. At some point, I'd like to get a Soundwave Thunder Machine because I've never owned a Thunder Machine, and I would like to because that looks cool. But
We reviewed on
I'm
the
not gonna.
another episode, so go back and take a look at that because actually I think we've reviewed all three of those vehicles on different.
Mm, I think we did, yeah. Yeah, because you got them all when they first came out,
Did.
and um, I am looking forward to seeing what they do with the Triple T with Sergeant Slaughter and Leatherneck. Yojo June starts what, next week or the week after? I don't know. You know what? This whole year is flying by. I
Same.
can't believe we're more than halfway through May already.
I know.
So Yojo June is very close, and I quite imagine that we will finally see the Triple T tank with the transformer that turns into uh grizzled old soldier Sergeant Cup.
Oh, yeah.
I imagine we'll probably see the at least the renderings, if not the prototypes, for characters like Alpine and um fuck, I can't remember some of the other characters they've named.
I don't remember.
But
So we'll have
I
episode with that when all that
but
stuff.
yeah, I oh, Leatherneck. I imagine we'll see him too. For the classified line too. Uh Leatherneck's getting two figures in a very short time, it seems. Um Where's Wetsuit? You can't have one without the other. It was really dumb when they put out Bazooka without Alpine, and it's really dumb if they put out Leatherneck without Wetsuit.
Only a matter of
Hasbro, you have to. You have to. Come on
I
now.
cannot imagine that it's not in the pipeline. The one thing that I was going to mention that we had talked about the Star Wars vintage collection HasLab does appear to be the cantina scene that JD had like heard the hints about. So there
Yeah.
have been some more hints about that. They were going to announce it a couple of days ago, and then delayed the announcement. They said they wanted to do a few things to it before they announced it, but it there's been some digital renders that were leaked. And so, yeah, that looks like the next vintage collection HasLab is going to be the cantina scene from A New Hope. So I don't need that. I think it's going to look really cool. It's says it's like specifically designed to sit on a like on a bookcase shelf and just have all your figures. And I think that's a good idea. It's just not my thing, and I've got whole whole like new way of displaying loose figures, so it really doesn't fit in with what I do.
Um, for the Mos Eisley enthusiasts and the people who, you know, Star Wars collectors, they generally have their concentrations. Even the completists, they'll buy everything. They have their, or they even the non or the completists, they'll have their fixations that they. And I know a lot of collectors love the Cantina and always wanted more of the Cantina figures. I don't I don't imagine that the price will be reasonable, just like the price was not reasonable on the Katena sail barge, and the price was not reasonable for the Ghost. So I would imagine that the price will continue not being reasonable for the Mos Eisley Cantina. But like all of those Hasbro, I will look at it. I will think, I'd like to see what they're going to pack in with these things. What figures are they going to include? I am very curious what figures they will include with this, because over the last 20 years or so, most of the Cantina aliens have been made, varying degrees of quality, varying degrees of availability. I would imagine at least at least a couple of them will be figures that have gotten figures before, but are probably much better now. Um, I do kind of hope that the giant praying mantis is included because there was an individual release of that thing years ago.
So
Um, but
I do
I
not have one in my collection.
I don't um I don't think that they will repeat a bunch of, like, I don't think they'll include Han or Chewie. I'm pretty sure people would go out of their fucking minds if they did, and not in a good way.
I
I'm
can
pretty sure that,
when
huh?
I can see him doing Han and Greedo, but
That would be completely unnecessary.
I
But
think one of them's going to be the bartender.
yeah, he has not had a figure since I think the Power of the Jedi line back in 2000 or 2001. So Wooher, the bartender, is well overdue for an update. If they don't have the big praying mantis guy, whose name I know, but I am not about to try to pronounce that, there's a whole lot of K's and apostrophes in that. Because I believe the name is supposed to sound like the clicking noise that their mandibles make. I would be curious. I do think that this will be based on A New Hope, but I would also like to see, because the cantina has shown up on Mandalorian. I would be amused if the big cockroach, Dr. Mandibles, that Pelimano was playing sabacc with in the cantina, I would be amused if he showed up, but I don't think so. I'm pretty sure this is going to be A New Hope. And if that's the case, maybe Boshak, the spacer with the sideburns, maybe he'll be included.
Yeah, see that. Uh,
I
the other thing I was going to mention was that apparently I was one of the few people that got suckered in on the Kickstarter for the 1/18th scale Airwolf.
You were not one of the few, you were one of many, and there's a whole lot of people that are pissed.
So I posted on social media that when the newest update was the guy that put all this together for, and his name of the name of the country company is Mars Industry, which is I find ironic. Um, that fuck it, I'm done. Nobody's getting anything. Fuck you all. Basically, was the email that came out. Um, and he was like, you can blast me on social media, and I'm like, I'll do that. Thank you. Uh,
Yeah, thanks for the permission that people were definitely going to do it anyways.
yeah. So I got another email a couple days after posting that saying that there may still be hope, that it sounds like somebody may be taking up, somebody that knows what they're doing, maybe taking up the 3D printing aspect of it. So
Oh, that would be an interesting save.
yeah.
Um,
So
I
he's the guy. I think it's really hard to say. I mean, I've seen so much stuff about this guy on social media. I don't. There's no way to know what's true. I mean, this guy has said that he's been harassed by all then like by backers, and they've attacked his family and filed charges, and who knows? I don't know. I don't continue.
Again, I say, people, be reasonable. Stop attacking people online. Just stop attacking
No,
people online.
this
But
isn't
whatever.
like online. This is like in real life that they,
No, I mean, stop taking things from the internet and terrorizing people. It's not. It's you know what? I know you lost money on it if you backed it. Okay, I understand that. But do not take your anger out and ruin people's lives. I'm sorry. That's really unnecessary. Um,
and I people were super worried about the quality of the product, and I'm like, you know what? I am a customizer. Just get me something, and I can fix it, and I can paint it myself. I I
right.
didn't. I'm like, I didn't. I don't think I paid for the painting. I didn't pay for it to be assembled. Any of that. I just paid for a kit. So I had planned on putting it all together myself, sanding it, filling it in, and painting it myself. I was not going to have any problem with that. I was going to spend a couple months doing it. That's fine. But it sounds like he may be trying to get it off the project off to somebody else that knows what they're doing. So,
If somebody else can follow through and carry it out, and people get their products, I think in most cases people won't care where it came from, or they won't be concerned who makes it. They'll be more concerned with somebody is making it. And I think if somebody else can fulfill the promise, I do think that would be cool. Because
yeah,
do you remember how much it was? I know it wasn't cheap. I remember looking at the Kickstarter saying, wow, I'm glad I don't care about Airwolf because that is not cheap.
I
Um,
remember how much it was because, like I said, I went for the basic kit. Um, so I don't think I did the figures for the kit either because
oh, I
I
didn't remember that there were figures promised.
supposed
Oh,
to be
wow.
oh yeah, there were supposed to be figures promised. Um, I didn't go in on the figures because I had planned on customizing my own because at that time one of the guys that I was getting heads from who has since stopped making stuff had a fantastic 3D rendering of one of the actors and I'm like I'm just going to wait for him to make that head and I will get somebody else to do. I'll do a commissioned probably through Craniac for the Jan Michael Vincent head, and I will make my figures using Marauder Task Force bucks because the just the regular military figure would work perfectly for that flight suit, and I'll be happy. But yeah, I don't. So yeah, stay tuned. Who knows? Maybe the guy's just stringing people along again. Maybe there is still hope for the Airwolf project, and man, I would certainly like to see it come out. But
For the sake of everybody who bought it and everybody's peace of mind, I do hope that something comes of it because it does suck to get screwed over like that.
uh,
Because it sounds like the guy bit off way more than he was able to chew.
yeah. Which
But
reminds me, I got a request to have Marauder John on the show again to do an update on the Vietnam Task Force. Um, we are going to have Marauder John on the show again, but it's not going to be the until the release of the Kickstarter. Uh, Marauder John has said that he is not going to do. He does put out regular updates. Those updates are as detailed as he can make them with the information that he has. He is not going to answer any questions on our show that people want to know the answers to that he has not put out. So sorry. Yes, we will have Marauder John on the show again. But we're not getting him on the show so people can harangue him with questions that he doesn't have the answers to. So,
I want to have him on the show again so we can talk to him again because that guy is super cool to talk to.
absolutely.
I do not want to be a gateway for him to get harangued about a Kickstarter. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not enabling that. The fact
Yep.
is, when the Kickstarter, it was super popular. They had a huge project ahead of them.
And then
I'm
COVID.
not surprised that things have taken longer, but the fact is this: we both bought Marauder stuff. We know damn well no matter how long it takes to put that stuff out, it will be worth the wait. It's going to be the final product will be awesome.
It
Part
will
of it's going to take so long because they're not rushing it. They don't want quality issues. They don't want anything that's going to come back, and people are going to be less than thrilled with it. So if it takes a while, well, you're you're going to get the quality that you paid for.
100%. So I've seen the requests for I've seen your I because they keep saying at the end of the show, if you have somebody that you want to see on the show, please let us know. Somebody let us know. They want to see Marauder John. I'm sorry, he will be on the show again. Same with Troy when their project comes Broken Arrow comes out.
Oh
Uh,
fuck yeah!
and when we're gonna get the Robo Skull guys on again too when that Kickstarter goes when that Kickstarter drops, and that looks like it's getting closer and closer too. So, um, sorry, we're not getting those people on to so people can harangue them. So, sorry.
No, God, no. Although, yeah, you're right. The Skeletron, those updates, yeah, that it's coming pretty soon. Yeah, because I have the vintage, the O-ring style figure, and Grindstone Toys that's making the Troy's company. They made it, and my God, the quality on that figure is perfection. It they that it they the Grindstone Toy, they set such a high standard with how great that figure is. I'm like, oh, I can't imagine. I look forward to getting the rest of those figures from the Kickstarter that I bought, because boy, that's the way to make O-ring figures. Man, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we'll get Skeletron back on the show at some point. But yeah, after all that stuff is shipped and they don't have a logistical crap to worry about anymore.
Yep. They will be on the show. We will be doing a release party for all of that stuff. Just stay
Fuck
tuned.
yeah.
Comes out. Ronner, John, Skeletron, Troy. We'll have all those guys back on the show. They've already agreed to be back on the show, so we will hold them to that. I was going to open one other thing on the show this time, since I'm opening a lot of the stuff since I'm putting all my loose figures up. I'm opening a lot of the stuff that I had boxed. I bought the uh, Hydra Supreme and Arnim Zola 2-pack um, when it came out.
Oh, okay.
I've had this thing, I don't know, since it came out. I pre-ordered it through Big Bad Toy Store and just never opened it because why would I? Because it looks super cool in the box. The box art's fantastic on the back.
Yeah, I like that Hydra Supreme figure. I
The Arnim Zola art on the one side, Hydra Supreme on the other. Uh, Nothing.
I think it's super cool. I don't need an Arnold Zola figure. That's why I didn't buy it. I I really like what they did with Arnim Zola in the MCU.
Yeah,
His comic book design, the robot suit, has never done much for me.
I've
It's
been kind of the same mindset, but I really liked the color scheme that they went with on this. The purple and the gold really works really well.
I'll
Uh,
say, because isn't he usually orange
yeah, he's a
in
different.
the comics?
Yeah, he's a completely different color
Yeah,
scheme.
yeah, his usual look in the comics does not help endear the character design to me at all. Um, I
So
mean, I admit I'm not sure about this set, so maybe it probably is an improvement. Anything would be, but
so it's got both of his heads. So that's
oh, oh yeah, the subdued color scheme, that is much better.
yeah. So it's got the interchangeable head, so the head that's on it, and then the more traditional comic book Arnim Zola head, and then like his weapon that he usually has with him. They've got that with it too. And then uh it's not quite lenticular, the face, but it's still pretty cool. I like what they did with
That's cool. Yeah.
I think it's a cool figure. I've never had an Arnim Zolam figure. Um and yeah, I really like what they did with him in the MCU. So it was like, yeah, I'm not a big fan of the comic book adaptation, the comic book figure either, but it's like, you know what? I like it enough to get it. So I think they did a really good job on it.
I think translating it from the comic, I think that looks fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like that sculpt is good. He's not gonna fall over, that's for damn sure. There's nothing dainty about that figure.
No, it is a
Um,
solid chunk. So there's the interchangeable head. So yeah, no, it's a solid chunk of figure. This would be super awesome for customs, um, just as a buck. And I really dig the figure actually, and I just because of the color scheme. And then let's see, the Hydra Supreme figure.
That
Uh,
a repaint of the Civil Warrior figure.
yeah.
Okay.
It,
It's not bad.
I'm not super impressed with this. It's got a fist on the right hand, then an open palm on the left, and not really any. His shield clips onto his wrist. He doesn't really have a way to hold it.
That's stupid.
Yeah, I'm not as impressed with the Hydra Supreme as I thought I would be, quite honestly.
You saying the Arnim Zola figure is actually cooler?
Yeah,
Oh, there's a weird irony. So, so you buy it for the Civil Warrior, and it turns out the other figure's cooler.
yeah, I bought it.
Yeah, that's not
Hydra,
bad.
I did it. I bought it for the Hydra Supreme, and yeah, I actually like the Arnim Zola figure better. I did a custom of this last year in 3 3/4 inch. I like my
Yeah,
custom.
you did. Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
my.
I mean, that's not bad, but
No, it's the sculpt is fantastic, but the one time that it could have used interchangeable hands and they don't put them in there. I mean, uh
terrible.
yeah. Oh, which reminds me, I do have another figure to review. Let me grab it real quick. So yeah, I'm not real impressed with the Hydra Supreme. The gold is not, yeah, I don't know. The paint doesn't pop like it really could, like gold should.
It it looks like the gold needs to be lingier just a bit. Maybe not gaudy, but yeah, it's a little dull looking.
Yeah. So on that note, it would be perfect for a custom though. The customizing potential is fantastic on that. So because it is a nice sculpt. The figure is nicely sculpted. Let's see here.
All I bought lately was a McFarlane DC figure. Um, I
Uh
opened it. It was fine.
I finally got my Recondo, um my classified Recondo. I like it. I think they did a great job with it. I'm super happy to have the vintage Recondo in my or the vintage style Recondo in my classified collection. It's definitely one of my early figures in my collection, one that got played with all the time. So any of those I'm super happy to have in my collection. What I got with it was the new
Ooh,
Valerverse Swarm Horde Trooper.
nice.
I
Uh,
fucking love this figure.
you love translucent plastic.
I
I mean, so do I, but put translucent plastic on a thing, that'll get Brian to buy it.
translucent.
Even I mean, I mean, you've got all the Swarm figures, right, from that line, so
Don't
you'd buy it anyways.
I
But
don't have the original Swarm Trooper. There's a yellow.
oh, okay,
I have the translucent green one, and then I have this one, and then I have another one of their army building figures, but it's not one of the Swarm Troopers. It's something else.
okay,
It's like I think it's a Horde Trooper, but this is a Swarm Horde Trooper, so it's supposed to be like special forces between the Swarm and the Horde Troopers.
that's cool.
I absolutely love the head. The red is translucent plastic on the face. The painting that they did on the kind of the underside of the visor is in a real light tan, so it looks like it's bone.
Nice.
Yeah, and yeah, anything armored is it usually gets my thumbs up for any type of armored figure. But yeah, you put armored and translucent plastic together, and I'm sold. It's a
Yeah, that is looking.
solid build. The articulation's fantastic. Um, I
Oh,
did,
I like this. I like that the stand is that translucent red too. That's cool. That's a nice touch.
yeah, the green one has a translucent green plastic stand as well. Um,
That's cool.
Comes with the vector rifle. He came with another assault rifle. I don't remember what it was. I've already put it in the fuck it bucket. He comes with a pistol, and then um, on his back, he's got a knife that's removable.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And then obviously the backpack. So the only kind of like downside is you got to line up the hole in the body armor with the hole in the figure to get the backpack on just right, which is really hard to do.
Oh shit.
So
Oh, pack down, pack down.
yeah, so I mean it's you got to kind of push the armor down a little bit to peg it in. The wings obviously are articulated, which are super cool. But yeah, I freaking and this is a I think it's a Big Bad Toy Store exclusive figure. But I've had this pre-ordered since they went up, and
I want to see a fight between that guy and then Alley Viper,
oh yeah, right. I think the
or
alley
yeah, uh, 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 a squad of Alley Viper versus a squad of Swarm guys. That'd be badass.
this is yeah, this is like an alley viper on steroids, like futuristic alley viper on steroids. I absolutely love this. Valerverse is killing it with their figures. Um, it's I've got to really pick and choose what I get. I'm not the biggest 1/12 scale fan. So even though everything that I've reviewed today has been 1/12 scale except for the Ghostbusters thing, but I can't afford to get all of the all of the cool 1/12 scale stuff that's out there. Boss Fight is putting out a 1/12 scale uh red
Red
S-
Sonja.
yes,
Oh, that looks cool.
which looks amazing, but the price tag it's like an $80 figure or something like that. It's stupid expensive, and I'm like, not a chance. Just not gonna do it. And I've seen so many people requesting that in 1/18 scale, and I really wish they would scale that down and release it in the 1/18 scale, but I don't see that happening. Um, Especially with whatever just happened at Boss Fight, that nobody's
No idea.
that a couple of the founders are no longer with Boss Fight. So sorry to see sorry to see those guys go.
Um, I do wish that they would do a 1/12 Zorro now, because when I got the first Zorro figures, I was I hadn't quite made the transition to buying as much 1/12 scale as I have. They don't need to, but I think it'd be awesome if they did. Um, just so I could have a Zorro on par, but I'm still happy with the 4-inch figures that I have. Um,
I gotta
I
say,
am
it really goes Boss Fight's really gone out on a limb with some of their to me with some of the licensing that they've got because they're doing like the King Features Popeye figures, which I just don't see there being a big draw for those. I mean,
There
the
probably is. It's just
so niche.
it's it's so far out of my wheelhouse and yours. I think we just can't comp. I do know that Popeye is still a popular thing across the world. I have never particularly seen the appeal of it.
I
When I
watched
was a
the through.
kid, I was only vaguely entertained by the Popeye stuff. Um, Mostly I just like watching him beat the crap out of people. But after he took the spit, but the uh, the talking thing that he does and the fate then the characters that I'm not a fan. It's out of my wheelhouse. I don't think they'd be making stuff if there wasn't a market for it. I think it's playing in a different building than the one we usually stick around in. I have to imagine if there was no demand, they wouldn't be making it. I don't personally know
I don't know any,
any, but I don't think but
and they do
I'm not the target market for it, so that's all right.
they do look
Uh,
nice. They are nice looking figures, and they are doing a very deep dive into that genre, and they're doing a significant number of characters from that genre, which I think is impressive. It's cool to see stuff like that get made, but I don't know. The other big thing that they're putting out that I have zero interest in, but I think there probably will be a huge draw for will be is their strawberry shortcake stuff. I think
Again, it's not in our wheelhouse, but I do know when they unveiled those, there was a like people were excited. So
that I
not in
that I can see that reminds me of the San Diego Comic-Con exclusives of years gone by when they would do Gem. God damn, I thought we had that turned off. The thumbs up thing went off again.
oh yeah.
So when they would do there was a couple years that they did a San Diego Comic-Con Gem exclusive figure, and that was one of the first figures to sell out each year, which never ceased to impress me that there was that big of a draw for that character that's still there. So it doesn't surprise me to see them doing um to see Boss Fight doing the strawberry shortcake stuff, but again, like you said, out of my wheelhouse.
To be
It's
fair, even though strawberry shortcake, I'm not the target demographic and it's not really on my radar. I will say that if I was going to branch out and buy something wholly different, strawberry shortcake is closer to my wheelhouse than Popeye is. Um, so,
yeah,
um, and I saw pictures online last week of a 40th anniversary release of a Rainbow Bright doll, and I can't believe that that's been around for 40 years. I saw, um, I saw a meme today, the Skeletor meme that said 6 years from now, the 80s will be 50 years in the past. I'm like, well, that's fucked up to say. I mean, true, but that's fucked up to say. Um, um, Today is the anniversary of the release of The Empire Strikes Back to theaters in 1980. I'm like, 44 years since that's fucked up. Um, I don't. My mother used to say, I used to say, no, I used to say time passes too quickly. And my mother used to say, well, that'll get worse as you get older. And mom, you were right. And I don't appreciate that at all. Wherever she is right now, she might be giggling that I've said this, but
I I
there's,
I know, Mom. She's laughing at us right now.
yeah, she just say, oh, as you get older, it'll get worse.
Sure as fuck has. Uh,
Yeah,
but like I said on the boss fight stuff, I passed up all of the Umbrella Academy figures, even though I really liked that show, just because the head sculpts were hot garbage. I mean, in this day and age with people like Craniac doing 3D printed head and action figure labs on Etsy, the stuff that they can do with a 3D printer is is phenomenal. I mean, it's just amazing. I got a head from Craniac. He did a Crocodile Dundee head. I grew up with that movie. I've seen that. It was on HBO one summer when I was a kid, so I've seen that movie probably 20 or 30 times. And I did a Crocodile
See the
Dundee.
sequel? I never saw the sequel.
I did see they did 3 of them. I have not seen the 3rd one, but I've seen the 2nd one. The 2nd one was just as enjoyable as the 1st one. Um,
Okay.
I think the 2nd one was just as good as the 1st one, quite
I
honestly.
didn't know that they made multiple sequels to it.
Yeah, I
Um,
didn't know that they had done a 3rd one, and I have not seen it and probably won't watch it, but I actually rented the 2nd one to watch it again here. So, but that has been one of my most popular customs of the year. I've gotten over 600 likes on that figure on my Facebook page.
well,
Yeah. Just I did not expect that. I bought a beater Joy Toy figure, one of the shirtless Joy Toy figures. I used Marauder vest and bought the head and painted it up, assembled it and painted it up in a day and posted it, and it's been one of my most popular figures of the year so far.
I want to see a fight between Crocodile Dundee and Naugahyde. I want Mick to beat the crap out of Naugahyde. He give him the beat down that he deserves.
I think that would happen. I think that would happen. So, yeah, and just some of the stuff that Boss Fight has said that they were going to put out, and then it's, whatever happened to the science fiction line. I mean that they they said that was going to come out a couple of years ago, and we never saw anything other than.
Priorities changed. They got licensed stuff, maybe. I don't.
And on that note too, I mean some of the licensing stuff. I mean they got the licensing for Flash Gordon, and we've seen very few things from that.
Last week I saw pictures of a Zorro set and one of the Mexican soldiers. I was like, oh, I got kind of excited for a second. Then I realized that the Mexican soldier was not in the 118 scale. It's from that 5-inch line with the superpowers Kenner articulation. Well, that was the end of that enthusiasm.
Again, another weird choice. Boss, I
McFarlane started doing the superpowers figures a couple years ago, so they're 5 inches tall, just like the vintage superpowers, same style. I love superpowers when I was a kid. Doesn't hold any appeal for me now, and the fact that a lot of other companies have followed suit with these 5 or 7 point of articulation, 5-inch tall figures in the same style like that. The whole line of something from
oh, yeah,
Fresh Monkey Fiction called Long Box Heroes. They're all like
yeah.
pulp era, like heroes from comic books and television shows and shit, and it's all the same. Not in my wheelhouse, but I guess for the people that are fans, it's cool. But I don't quite understand it, but that's all right. There's people that probably look at the stuff we buy and think, really? But that's all right.
Probably. I was
Variety is the spice of life, and the world would be really boring if we all like the same stuff.
I was really hoping for a since they did god damn it. Since they did a had that turned off and it keeps going on. Since they did a Prince Baron figure, like movie accurate Prince Baron, I was hoping for a Voltan, and I was hoping for a Max von Sydow um, Ming the Merciless figure. And they've done Ming from the comic books or from the comic strips, but they have have not done a Ming from the movie. So I was wondering maybe they don't have the licensing rights for Max von Sydow.
I was just gonna say maybe it's a movie likeness rights thing because they didn't make what's his name, the character that he played in Star Wars Episode 7. I can't fucking remember what the character's name is. The old guy that had the little thumb drive that had part of the map where Luke Skywalker was. Like Laura Santeca, they never made a figure of him, and I thought for sure they would have. So I wonder if the estate of Max von Sydow is like maybe they don't want to license his image. And that's all right. I can kind of understand it.
But the
Um,
Vulcan kind of surprises me because that actor, I thought I had seen him say that he had agreed to the license, but I'm not 100%. I can't remember his name. It's Brian something or other, but um, I see him on social media every once in a while. Um,
wait, guy with the beard,
yeah,
Brian Blessed.
yeah,
Yeah, he played Boss Nass in Star Wars Episode One,
okay.
the head of the Gungans. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. I forgot he was in that movie. I haven't seen the movie, but I'm aware of what he looked like in the movie. And I think I think he's been in action figure form before, so it is kind of weird that they had to make him in
Yeah,
that movie.
and they were able to get Timothy Dalton for the Prince Barrett figure. So I mean, it's like, I don't know. It's just it's weird to me that we've got they were able to get Sam Jones, and I talked to him at a convention a couple years ago. He was super cool to talk to. Um, really receptive to the fans. I mean, we got there just as he was setting up his booth, and we're like, "We'll come back." And he's like, "No, no, hang around. Let's talk." Well, I set up my stuff, so
You know how cool it is when these celebrities just be like, "No, hang out, we can talk," and they don't like they like the fan interaction. They want to talk. Like they're not there to just make an appearance. They want to make a connection with the.
I
That's cool.
Jones,
I
super
like
cool.
that.
Sam Jones was super cool like that. I mean, I had by the time we were done, I had a line forming. I'm like, I should really let all of these other people get a chance to talk to you because I talked to him probably for 35, 45 minutes. Um,
They're
so
lost for not getting there early. That's my thing.
yeah, pretty much. But it's at the same time, I feel guilty that it's like somebody else should have that cool experience too.
Well, if you ever see him at a future convention, you probably remember who you are, and that would be awesome too. So,
Um, so I don't know. Boss fight. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know where they're going. I
no
don't think,
idea.
but man, I sure hate to see him. Sure hate to see him go tits up or run it into the ground because I've got a lot of cool boss fight figures in my collection that I absolutely love. The Knights of Asperity thing is like one of my favorite things to get. I've got just about all the different ones that there are. There's one I was not able to get, but um
And it's kind of crazy that they've got figures like Vitruvian Hex that are 10th anniversary. 10 years. What? Time really does fly. You know
yeah.
what? Time flies if you're having fun or not. So,
And I backed that original Kickstarter, so I still have a bunch of those figures sitting around somewhere that need to go up on the wall. Because I backed the original Kickstarter for quite a big piece of it. I didn't go all in, but I was pretty close on that. Um, and then I seems like I backed another one of their Kickstarters too, but I don't remember. And then they're doing something called I think it's called Court of the Dead figures, which are really cool figures. I don't know anything about it. I think it's a video game. I don't know anything about it. I've been getting the
I've
figures.
seen the pictures. Yeah, I have no context for it either. It is cool looking.
I've gotten the
Um,
figures as they've come out, and they are super fucking awesome figures. But yeah, I have no context for it.
I I think you should take your Ash custom, make another one, and have me fight those. I'm just saying. Um,
Yeah, I can't get into my Ash custom because it's carded right now. So
that's why I said I think you should make another one.
yeah. Um,
Yeah,
I think that's about all I got for this episode, though. Yeah,
I just, you know what? Damn it! Sometimes I just like to have a conversation. So, um,
absolutely.
and and I don't have any toys to open, so I live vicariously through Brian. I do have a Cosmic Legions figure on the way I bought off eBay for cheap to customize. Um, I can't afford the Cosmic Legions line. I found a bargain on one of them that I could repaint, but I can't buy the rest of that line. That's crazy.
That's another
They make some amazing toys
the Four
with
Horsemen.
amazing price tags. But
Fantastic. I love what they're doing. I'm not a day goes by that I'm like, I'm glad it's a 1/12 scale lines because I would, if it was 1/18 scale, I would be buying everything that they put out.
and not a day goes by that I don't see a picture of one of them and say, "Fuck, I wish I could." That or the Mythic Legion stuff, that fucking that Centaur, whatever they made. I'm like, Jesus, the Headless Horseman that they made. I'm like, well, that is 3 times what I would pay for, what I'd be able to pay for.
Yeah.
Fuck, that figure is cool.
Yeah.
Um,
I have one of the trolls, and I mean it's like this fucking big, man. I mean it's huge. Marcus talked me into getting one, and I got it cheap when it came out, and he sent me a figure to customize, and I did. That was my first 1/12 scale custom. Was the a
oh, I remember that. Yeah, it had armor on, right? It was purple and
female,
black.
yeah, female vampire knight.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I got one Cosmic Legions figure. I'm going to repaint it as Cobra Black Star, um, the Star Brigade pilot. Um, this will now be the second custom I've made of it. My first, because I made the 4-inch version, and I'm going to make the 6-inch version. There was one particular Cosmic Legions figure I looked at. I'm like, oh, that's got some pretty badass elaborate armor, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna use that for Black Star because I didn't want to use any parts that could easily be mixed up with any other particular toy line. I wanted him to stand out on his own. So,
yeah,
um,
I was looking at some of the Cosmic Legion stuff a couple of days ago, and I'm like, man, that is just a beautiful figure. And it just,
there's there, there's some aliens and stuff that have some designs, and I'm like,
yeah,
I don't want to look at it because it makes me sad that I can't buy it. But I also can't not look at it because it's like art that I just have to appreciate.
absolutely.
Um,
Yeah. No, I'm just, yeah, man. Yeah. I was like,
yeah, the Four Horsemen, boy, yeah, they do good work.
yeah, they do. And they're quality figures too. I mean, the one that I have, the two that I have are super good quality. The fantastic articulation, the details are amazing. The paint apps are fantastic. And yeah, I that if I had more money than I knew what to do with, I would be buying their stuff too. But like I said, I've got to pick and choose, and yeah, it's really hard to pass some of that stuff up. But the price tag makes it a little easier.
Now, I was gonna say, yeah, it doesn't. When you can't even entertain the idea, it does make it easier to say no.
Yeah, yeah, because they've got one of their like mid-sized figures, so it's like I think like one of their deluxe ones, and it's one of the aliens, and it blew my mind. I'm like, wow, I really want that figure, but it was like an $80 or $90 figure, and I'm like, nah, I just can't justify it.
I He's meowing at me. He's like, dude, there was food in the dish. Where'd it go? Do you want more food in the dish? That's Treacle. His name was Oh, hi Alice. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's Treacle. His name was I was watching the Great British Baking Show and they were using treacle molasses. And I'm like, ooh, I like that. Because I got him a couple weeks ago. But usually I'll just see him like if the lighting's low, I'll just see two gray eyes looking at me. He's just a void that gets lost in the shadows. Um, but he gets up there and he's like, dude, there's no food. So he ran out. Um, but well, I we might have a guest for the next episode. I just got to get a hold of the guy. But
and Isaac from from Craniac Studio said that he would be on too. We
Ooh, sweet.
just need to schedule that. I'm just super busy at work.
I was gonna say adulting sucks. Um,
Yeah,
but
because I of my 4 days off, I had to be at work 3 of them, and
yeah,
I'm already committed to another full day on my another one of my days off coming up.
yeah,
So
you should be less good at your job. You don't have to work as much. I'm just saying. Um,
yeah, I don't see that happening. I think we're just going to get busy.
no, and I don't think it actually should, but you know, you don't can't relish your time off when you don't get to take
Yeah,
it all. But it does make you enjoy it when you do. So
absolutely. But I think that's about all we got for this particular episode. Um, please do all that fun social media stuff. Like, share, subscribe, comment below. Let us know any subject matter that you'd like to see on the show, or any customizers or content creators, any of that stuff. Throw them out there, because we'd like to get people on the show. Uh, it was great to have Dayton on the last episode, so we
for
are
sure.
definitely wanting to get people back on the show as guests. So if there's people that you want to see on there, let us know. And as always, thanks for watching.
Thanks everybody. I'm gonna go catch Pokemon.